moving on to topic 2, let's catch up on some games that I've been playing. And we got some fun ones in terms of like our end of the year discussions. Like we've been doing the podcast towards the end of the year, not game of the year specific, but just like what's our personal game of the year. I know I've been doing those with Jeff the past 2 years, maybe 3 years even. I don't remember. And that's been a good time. I don't know if we'll be doing the same format this year with Jeff being out of streaming. But regardless, so I've been playing some more games off stream, even on stream too, that have just been a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying diving into head on, yeah. And experiencing those. First one is an indie that I didn't even know was coming out, but it's I learned about it. I know Vicarious worked on it. I don't remember how I saw this. It was just kind of quick in passing on social media. Maybe it was PlayStation blog posting about it or whatnot. It's called Vampire Hunters. So we've talked about it in the past, but Brotato I've really been enjoying this year, where it's that top-down, almost Vampire Survivors like, which we've also been playing a shit ton of Vampire Survivors in the past couple months now that's been on PlayStation. So I've been really enjoying those pick guns, survive, run around, shoot around, just survive those 20 minutes, go boom, 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 upgrade your character, and hopefully make it to the final wave. I've been really enjoying those games this year, especially as a zone out thing, and Vampire Hunters is another one of these games, but the difference between, for example, the Vampire Survivors and Brotato is this is a first-person shooter. You're still not, you can manually pull the triggers, it's still automatic, and you don't have to really worry about that aspect. It's more the dodging and then surviving and that strategy. But Vampire Hunters, it's first person, and you are shooting all these bad guys that are arriving. I've dipped my toe into it. I haven't played too much. I will say they don't do a great job of onboarding you and explaining what to do or what to upgrade or where your focus should be. They kind of just throw you into it to explore and discover for yourself and learn about. So I played a little bit here and there, but you have your guns. There's wide variety: assault rifles, SMGs, missile launchers, power-ups and magic orbs that you can throw, but you can have up to 12 weapons, which can be absolutely insane, and you're just trying to survive till the end of the timer. I don't think I've made it all the way through, but it's been a fun time to jump into if it's something that you want to just kind of turn on, play, have a podcast on in the background, or just jump into it for a few minutes. I definitely highly recommend it. There are permanent upgrades. There's different characters that you can play around with, each with their own different stats and buffs, which I haven't delved too much into. I think I've just played that first initial character, so I can't speak too highly on that. One thing that I did really enjoy, so after surviving for so long, they'll add like bosses that you can fight throughout, and there's some fun ones in there that have different gimmicks. Like there's one that's an egg with its little feet like sticking out of the eggshell, and it will run around, and if you don't defeat it in time, it will like burst from the egg and be this big dragon monster, and then it's an even tougher thing to deal with. The Scorpion King, yeah, that Scorpion King, he's in this game for some reason, which took me by surprise running into him for the first time. So it's fun, it's goofy. Like I said, it's one of those things you can kind of tune out to and just chill with, which is nice. So I would check that out if you have the time and you like that type of a game and genre, Vampire Hunter. Next one we did play on stream was Dredge. Now I'm getting to this one late. I think it came out last year, and a lot of people were hyping it up, talking about it, how awesome it was. And it was an amazing time. We played this for a week on stream, played it all the way through. This is a weird combination. It's a cozy fishing game with a dark, twisted backstory. So you're a fisherman who's, I guess you could say, applying for a job, showing up for a job. You crash your boat on the island. You talk to the mayor. He's like, yeah, your ship is wrecked, but we can loan you this one. You'll just have to pay it off, pay off to own it. and you just got to fish for us. So you take the job, you do that, you get this boat, and you can upgrade it, get different rods and like hydraulic lifts and nets you can fish with, and it's all hunky-dory. And as you go along, you learn that like this area's kind of got something going on, as some of the fish will be looking not so great, and if you stay out too late at night, you'll start seeing things and hallucinating. Maybe it's another boat that you think it's a friend, or it's this weird red mist that will chase you down, or rocks will just appear out of nowhere. And the story is one of those things where the more you explore and search for things, I think you'll get more out of it. There's a few endings to it, but the ride the whole way was a lot of fun, figuring out different puzzles and how to not catch certain different fish, but like just meet the requirements of like, oh, I need this equipment to get this fish from this place, to do this, to go here, to do that, talk to this person to get this resource. It's a very rewarding system, and the mini games for the fishing don't get boring. They do vary it up, whether it's depending on the type of fishing that you're doing, which I did appreciate. Like, it's a small touch. They're all very simple mini games, so it's a small touch that really adds to the depth of the game to make you keep going and not just be repetitive, boring type thing, which I did really appreciate. And then your boat is like your soulmate in a weird way. Investing in the boat and seeing how you've improved since the beginning is awesome. Like, I can remember boating around at the very beginning and be like, wow, this thing is slow. Like, it takes so long to get just across that part of the ocean to an opposite island that's not all that far away. But once you start upgrading, get like faster engines, man, you are zooming around the ocean, collecting all these fish, getting, money out the ace to do even more upgrades and whatnot. So if you've missed out on Dredge, I highly recommend that. Cozy in a way, but got that underlying tone. So you should definitely check that out. We will have our playthrough going up on YouTube as well, those VODs. So if you want to check that out before you dip your toes into it, it'll be up for you soon. And then last game I'm going to talk about is one that I was very excited for when it was initially coming out. Kind of dipped my toes into it, played a little bit, and then just it wasn't hooking me at the time, and kind of just moved on to other things. But Jedi Survivor. So with the recent world events that week or that night, kind of wanted a little bit of distraction, so I wasn't doom scrolling. And I was like, all right, comfort food, do this, do that. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to dive into Jedi Survivor. Just fully, whoosh, this is your focus. And man, was that a right decision. Obviously, the next morning wasn't great, but but diving into Jedi Survivor has been a lot of fun, and I can't believe this didn't hook me as hard as it has hooked me now in the past. I absolutely loved Fallen Order. That was one of my favorite games that I had streamed when that had come out. Absolutely adored it. And jumping into Jedi Survivor, it's been more of the same. Obviously, they have expanded on what they allow you to do in terms of customization. The saber customization you get right off the bat. There's certain elements that you can work towards and unlock in terms of like different hilts and pieces that you can customize even further for your saber throughout. But that's nice. And then there's also your robot BD1. You can customize his look as well as Cal's look throughout the whole thing. Whether you change his hair, his beard, his outfit, whatever it is. So that element of customization, usually I don't partake in that too much with games, just because I like the base look. Sounds bad, but the look that the designers put out there for like, oh, this is what they're supposed to look like for this story. Usually I don't mess with that, but I have enjoyed it here in this game and messing around with that. So like my Cal's got like a beard and a top knot and kind of looks semi-Jedi-esque in terms of cloaks and robes. And then last night, changed my lightsaber. I changed it initially to like more of his traditional saber with a yellow blade. I just changed it last night to look completely different. with a green blade. I was kind of hoping, and maybe this is an option like after you beat the game, but with this customization suite, they've added a lot more pieces that you can change, but they've also added material types. So you can make your lightsaber like, oh, I want this to look pristine, brand new out of the box, or you can make it look worn down. There's different materials where you can make it look copper, iron, gold, or just random other colors that you'll unlock as you explore. And there's like primary, secondary, tertiary, all these different elements that you can change around. But there's one I found last night that was like an imperial color spectrum, I guess you could say. And I don't know if this will be available post-game. I'm trying to remember if Fallen Order even had it available post-game, but like a red blade could be like, oh, I can make an evil version of Cal. That's been a lot of fun to mess around with. I do wish that there were presets. So like for the sabers, for example, because that's at least what I'm probably going to be messing around with the most. I wish you could save like, oh, this is Saber 1, all these customizations, and then 2, 3, 4, however many sets you wanted to make. Unfortunately, that's not there, so you have to either take a photo or remember what all elements you wanted or had if you want to go back to that certain build, I guess you could say, after you're done messing around with it. But that's been fun to play around with and see what they've added to this. But Jedi Survivor, in terms of gameplay, this one, it's more of the same in terms of that semi-Dark Souls-esque play where you have your parries, you have a little bit tougher enemies, you got to focus on your dodging and whatnot, especially early on. That is back in this title, or in this version, this sequel. But also they've expanded the world significantly. Obviously Fallen Order had decent-sized maps. Some of them very confusing to navigate, looking at you, Dothamir. But now they've added more open worlds, which I think I've really been enjoying, and that's probably what's gotten its hooks into me perhaps the most. So the second planet you're on in Kobo, most of my time has been running around there and just kind of exploring all the different paths that they do have to offer. There's rumors that they give you, which are kind of like side quests that you can help the pedestrians and civilians there with. There's different collectibles along with the sabers, the outfits, the BD1 parts and whatnot. There's a lot of things that you can search for, collect, find. I've really been enjoying that part, and it's allowed me once again to zone out and kind of just immerse myself in what I'm doing and just forget everything else. It's really been bringing me in there, which I've been enjoying. And then the times that those times that I do focus on the main story's been really, really intriguing as well. So we pick up after Fallen Order, the crew that we had kind of built together with Grease and Seer and Marin, they've all kind of split apart, and it's you now on your own, eventually, reconnecting with these individuals, seeing what they've been doing over these couple years. I don't know the time gap, but then Cal's still on his path of just like protecting those who are against the Empire, and a little bit of, I think it's mainly just protecting that, because he did have the option of like rebuilding the Jedi thing with the holocron of the Force sensitive individuals that we destroyed. Spoilers. So I think it's more just finding refuge so those people don't have to keep running. So that's the main journey here, and the elements that I've run into so far in terms of narrative, whether it is seeing what the past cast of characters has done in this time gap, and then also the opposition that Cal is facing and coming up against, I've been like, yep, I'm in. This is cool. I had a moment last night playing 2 where I was just like, holy shit, that was amazing. Like, it was one of those moments, like I know people talk about Uncharted a lot, and I can't remember if it's 2 or 3, but the train sequence in Uncharted, people like, this is a moment in this game that is just awesome. I feel like I had that experience in Jedi Survivor last night. And yeah, it's just been an amazing time playing that. I know at launch it had a little bit of bugs and like frame drops and stuttering here or there. I've noticed it a little bit even a year out, but I feel like it's smoothed out since. I've been playing it more and more, which is nice. I'm excited to keep diving into this. I've been playing it like here or there, so story-wise, I don't know where I am in terms of progress or how close we are to being done. But also, like I said, I am really kind of taking my time exploring these worlds. Not fully, because it is definitely Metroidvania where, oh, you don't have that skill yet, you can't go this way. But there is a lot that you can explore, which I do appreciate, where it challenges you in terms of whether it's a puzzle or a platforming test or whatever it is. I have enjoyed that and enjoyed running into the different enemies that they do have to offer, whether it is Imperial Stormtroopers and the variants there or just the wildlife. Man, boy, if you thought the Ogobago from the first one, wait till you meet a certain other frog, because you're going to be fighting him a lot. But that's been a lot of fun along with the other ones that we have run into. And yeah, just the side stuff that they have added. There's a lot of content out there besides the main story that they have added. Shout out to Scuvistev, I believe his name is. He's my favorite character. He's awesome, even though I don't remember his name correctly, but he's hilarious. Helping him out, helping the different civilians out. There's a cool board game, like hollow table, like strategy game that you can play in one of the areas that I really enjoyed. Yeah, just looking forward to exploring more of this, seeing what other worlds there are out there to explore. Right now, I think I've done 4 worlds, varying in size, of course. But yeah, excited to see how much farther this does go. And some of those fights, man, it doesn't feel as difficult as Fallen Order did in the early stages. And maybe this is just my comfortability or just I don't know what I'm going for. My level of playing these games being more fluid with it. Just being used to the dodge, being used to the parry, being used to the combinations, whatever it is. This has felt a lot of fun. And when you get more and more comfortable with it, it just feels rewarding. Like, I love blasting around, force pull this enemy and slash, go to the next one, slash, dodge, parry this, broke your armor, do that. Once you get into that flow state, as I've heard people call it, it's just amazing. It just adds to that game, and it's a lot of fun. Especially for me, like, I can't imagine. I'm really bad game-wise of I find something that I really like or I get used to in terms of like a game mechanic. For example, the saber stances. All your saber stances are there. Well, not all of them. All of the ones you got in Fallen Order are there at the beginning. So you can use the single blade. You can use 2 blades. You can use like Darth Maul style. You can use all those, and they have their different application times, appropriate application, like, oh, it's a group, oh, you gotta do fast strikes, whatever. I've been just going that single blade stance, and using that and like really being like, yep, this is it, I'm doing everything. I can't imagine jumping around, like how that's gonna feel once I start dipping my toes into those, and being like, oh, yep, this is great too. This game does also add 2 stances, so you do get a pistol at some point. So you can have that gun, almost Bloodborne-esque, use your shot, go with the single lightsaber blade, go from there. And then they also did the Kylo Ren, where you have the cross guards. That one seems more heavy striking, like a longsword-esque. But I haven't messed around with those two too much. You can only have 2 equipped at a time, which is a little saddening. I wish there was an easier way to switch between the two, or the 5 that you do have, but I get it. But yeah, I've been sticking with that single blade, and I've been loving it. Just like I said, when it all works, when it goes together, it's been really rewarding. So it's going to be interesting once we get towards that end of the year conversation. I feel like there's quite a few candidates for my personal game of the year that have really stuck out to me this year, and Survivor is definitely crawling up in terms of like, hey buddy, you want to pick me? But we'll see. But that's what I've been playing right now. There's a few more titles that I'm looking forward to playing. As of recording tonight, we're going to be jumping into Blackmouth Wukong, so excited to see what that's like. And then there's plenty more. Don't want to list them here, but check out down the road, December time. We'll recap